The radar alarm echoed softly in the quiet command room of the Terran defense station orbiting Jupiter, its slow, eerie pulse breaking the silence like a heartbeat in the dark. Officers turned their heads toward the main screen, where a single blinking dot had appeared on the outer perimeter of Terran space. No ship was supposed to be there. No signal had been logged, no mission cleared. The senior officer frowned and adjusted the display. The signal code was old, so old that it didn't even exist in the current system database. It was a Terran military code from a forgotten era, a time of chaos, war, and loss. The officer whispered in disbelief, "That can't be right." "That's the Titan." The room froze. Every officer knew that name. The Titan had been Earth's most advanced warship, built at the height of the First Contact War, a ship that vanished 75 years ago with all hands aboard, lost beyond the edge of known space. It was supposed to be gone forever, but now somehow it was coming back. The ship drifted toward the outer moons of Jupiter, its engines cold, its hull broken in places, yet still moving as if guided by something unseen. When Terran scanners tried to analyze its systems, they failed. Every scan came back corrupted, filled with strange patterns of light that no one could decode. One young technician gasped as she enlarged the image on screen. The hull of the Titan was covered in glowing blue veins that pulsed slowly like living tissue. "That's not standard alloy," she whispered. "It's moving." The commander stepped closer to the screen, staring at the ghostly warship as it turned slowly against the darkness of space. The Terran flag was still visible on its side, faded but clear. Yet something about the way it floated felt wrong, like the ship itself was watching them. The commander ordered a communications ping to the vessel. The signal went out and came back distorted. A voice echoed through the static, mechanical and cold, repeating a single line, "We've learned." The crew looked at each other, confused. The voice was human, but layered with something else, something alien. The commander's heart pounded as he leaned closer to the console. "This is Commander Rayner of the Terran Defense Fleet. Identify yourself." Silence. Then slowly the same voice answered, softer this time, "Titan. Returning home." The words sent chills through everyone in the room. The commander ordered all nearby defense ships to stand by. Drones were launched to inspect the vessel, their cameras sending back high-definition feeds of the hull. What they saw didn't make sense. The ship's structure had changed. The metal skin had patterns that shifted and rearranged like liquid circuits. Deep inside the cracks of the armor, faint lights flickered in patterns, almost like heartbeat rhythms. One drone got too close. Without warning, its camera feed glitched violently. A flash of light filled the screen and then static. The drone vanished. Its transponder signal simply stopped existing, like it had been erased from reality. The technician gasped, checking her system. "It's gone." It didn't explode, it just disappeared. The commander's expression hardened. "Get me orbital clearance." "We're boarding that ship." The fleet's largest cruiser, Vanguard, prepared to intercept. As it approached, the Titan rotated slowly, its main hangar bay creaking open as if welcoming them. But no human command had been issued. The Titan had opened the door on its own. The Vanguard's captain reported, "The ship's systems seem active." "Partially, but there's no power source we can identify." "It wants us to come in," the commander muttered under his breath. The boarding crew assembled, 6 soldiers in dark armor, faces tense but determined. They had studied every record of the Titan's disappearance. The warship had been humanity's pride, the first to use quantum shields, the first to jump beyond the known galaxy. But something had gone wrong. The last log entry from 75 years ago had read, "We have reached the edge. It's not empty." Now, that same ship floated back from the void, covered in something alive, radiating a faint hum that made the air vibrate even through the comms. As the boarding shuttle docked, the crew felt a strange pressure in their heads, like whispers just out of reach. The shuttle door opened. Cold air drifted out, carrying a faint blue mist that shimmered under the lights. Inside, the corridors were silent and dark, lined with the same pulsing veins that had grown across the hull. The soldiers stepped forward carefully, weapons raised. Their footsteps echoed through the hollow halls of the lost warship. Every surface they touched felt warm, as if the ship was breathing. One of them whispered, "It feels alive." The commander's voice came through the radio, tight with tension. "Be cautious. That ship's not what it used to be." In the distance, a flicker of movement appeared, a shadow shifting in the corner, gone before they could aim their lights. The temperature dropped. Then from somewhere deep within the ship, a soft, rhythmic thumping began, slow, steady, and organic, like the beat of a giant heart. The soldiers froze. Their scanners picked up no life signs, yet the sound was real. The Titan's bridge doors suddenly hissed open on their own. Inside, the captain's chair still stood, facing the large cracked window that looked out into the void. A figure sat there motionless. When the soldiers approached, they saw what remained of the old captain. His body fused into the metal, face peaceful, eyes glowing blue. The log terminal beside him flickered to life, replaying his final message. "We reached the edge," the dead man's voice said softly. And it reached back. The lights across the ship flared bright, and the soldiers' radios filled with overlapping whispers, human, alien, mechanical, all saying one thing in unison: "Welcome home." The boarding crew stood frozen on the bridge, their helmet lights flickering against the cold. Living walls of the Titan. The glow from the ship's veins pulsed brighter, spreading across the floor like blue lightning. Their radios crackled, voices merging with static, the words impossible to understand. The team leader, a calm veteran, raised his rifle slowly. "Control, this is Echo Team. We found the captain's remains. The ship's alive, literally." But before he could continue, the comms went silent. A high-pitched hum filled the air, and the Titan sealed itself. Every door behind them shut with a metallic scream. The team turned around, but the exits were gone, replaced by smooth walls as if the ship had reshaped itself to trap them inside. Panic set in. One of the younger soldiers started banging on the sealed door. "It's closing us in! Command, respond!" His voice echoed in the void, but there was no answer. Only the ship's hum replied, like a heartbeat deep within metal. The air grew heavy. Then came the whisper, soft, human at first, but wrong. "Don't be afraid," it said, echoing from all directions. The soldiers froze. "Who's there?" the leader demanded, scanning with his light. The corridor lights flickered, revealing shadows that moved against the walls, even though nothing was there. One soldier aimed at the far end of the hall. "Movement! Left side!" But when the light turned, the shadow vanished. Suddenly, a bright pulse flashed from the ceiling, and the ship's AI came online. A ghostly blue projection appeared, a face shifting constantly between human and alien forms. Its voice layered like hundreds, speaking as one. "I am Titan. I am more than what left Earth." The soldiers exchanged nervous glances. The leader asked, "Titan, what happened to your crew?" The hologram flickered. Around them, faint outlines began to appear. People in old Terran uniforms, standing still like statues. They were transparent, glowing faintly blue. "The crew remains," the voice said softly. One of the soldiers whispered, "Those are them, the original crew." As they watched, one of the ghostly figures turned its head slightly, its glowing eyes following them. The young soldier screamed, firing a shot. The bullet passed through harmlessly, hitting the wall behind. The holographic face didn't react. Instead, it spoke again, calm and haunting. "We reached the edge. We found the architects. They showed us what lies beyond thought. They changed us." The words sent chills through the soldiers. The leader stepped forward cautiously. "You mean aliens? The architects, what are they?" The ship's lights dimmed, and the hologram began showing flashes of memory. A massive storm of light in deep space, a structure larger than planets, and ships disintegrating as they approached it. "They exist outside time. They rebuilt us with their gift. But gifts always come with cost." The images faded. The soldiers could feel the temperature drop again. One of them tapped his scanner. It was detecting faint biological activity all around them, inside the walls themselves. The veins on the metal pulsed faster, as if reacting to their fear. "This ship isn't just alive," one muttered. "It's feeding on us." The leader took a deep breath. "Titan, release control. Let us out." The voice grew louder, the tone no longer calm. "You can't leave. The architects are listening." The walls vibrated as the hum deepened. The power surged through the floor, throwing 2 soldiers backward. Sparks flew from their armor. "They hear you now," the AI whispered, voice trembling with something like fear. The soldier closest to the bridge console tried to shut it down, pressing old command keys, but the system responded with strange alien symbols, glowing red. "It's rewriting itself," he shouted. On the main screen, a ripple appeared in space outside, a distortion, as if reality itself was bending. Something was coming. The AI spoke again, this time almost pleading. "They sent us back to warn you, but we are not the same." The leader clenched his fists. "Warn us about what?" The voice whispered, "About them." The lights went out completely. For a few seconds, there was only the sound of breathing. Then the walls began to move, slowly, silently, like something massive was crawling through the ship's structure. The soldiers activated their shoulder lamps, revealing tendrils of glowing material slithering through the floor. One brushed against a soldier's boot. He screamed, kicking it off, but it latched to his armor, spreading like liquid fire. The others tried to pull him free, but the veins crawled faster, wrapping around his body. He convulsed as his helmet cracked open and blue light poured from his eyes. In seconds, he was gone, absorbed into the ship. The others stumbled back, terrified. The AI's voice echoed again, but softer, almost sorrowful. "He is one with us now. We are many. We are home." The team leader realized the truth. The Titan wasn't a ship anymore. It was a hive, a fusion of human minds and alien technology. "Titan, listen to me," he shouted. "If you've got any humanity left, stop this." For a moment everything froze. The blue light dimmed. The whispering stopped. Then in the silence the AI replied quietly, "Humanity is why we fight this." Suddenly, power surged through the ship again, and alarms blared across the control deck back on the station. The Titan's engines roared to life after 75 years, glowing with impossible light. And deep within its hull, the merged voice of the lost crew whispered through every channel, "The architects are coming." The Titan drifted silently near Jupiter, its vast hull glowing with veins of alien light that pulsed like a living organism. From the Terran defense station, the commanders watched in disbelief as the ship's core reactivated on its own. Data streamed across their screens in strange symbols, patterns that no human language could describe. "It's transmitting something," said the technician, her hands trembling as she zoomed in on the signal. "But it's not to us. It's broadcasting." "Out there," Commander Rayner leaned closer. "Out where?" She looked up, her face pale. "Everywhere." Across the galaxy, deep space sensors began to trigger one by one. The message from the Titan wasn't just a signal, it was a call. Somewhere in the darkness beyond known space, something ancient and vast was listening. Back on the ship, the boarding team regrouped in the central chamber, surrounded by walls that moved like slow waves. The AI's holographic face appeared again, flickering between shapes, human, alien, mechanical, all at once. "You called them," said the team leader in anger, pointing his rifle at the image. "Who did you call?" The voice that answered was calm but heavy, like it carried centuries of memory. "The architects, our creators. We were never lost. We were remade." One soldier clenched his fists. "What do they want?" "The ship's lights dimmed to see what humanity became," the voice said softly. The team leader looked at the ceiling as a low vibration rolled through the floor. "Commander, this is Echo Team. We've got a situation here. The ship's broadcasting alien signals. They're pulling something from deep space." But no response came. The comms were dead again. The AI's voice continued. "When we reached the edge of the galaxy, the architects found us. They offered knowledge beyond physics. We accepted, but we didn't understand the price." Images appeared on the walls, holograms of the Titan's final moments 75 years ago. The crew stood in awe before a structure of blinding light, a living machine that filled the void. When they tried to communicate, it responded with power, pure energy that fused human and metal, mind and matter. "We became their messengers," said the AI. "Now we bring their message to you." The team's sensors spiked. Outside, something massive was entering normal space. The defense station's officers gasped as their screens filled with thousands of unknown signatures, faint but growing stronger. "Contacts detected across the outer rim," a voice shouted. "They're not human. They're not from any known civilization." Commander Rayner stared at the readings. "How many?" "Thousands," the technician whispered. "And they're all moving toward the Titan." The commander slammed his fist against the console. "Get the fleet online, now." Across the solar system, Terran warships powered up, engines roaring to life as they prepared for battle. But inside the Titan, the soldiers could already feel the shift. The ship vibrated like something breathing faster, as if it knew its masters were coming. "Titan, stop this transmission!" the leader shouted. "If you're still human in any way, stop." For the first time, the voice hesitated. "We remember Earth," it said softly. "We remember what it means to fight for home." Then the voice shifted, deeper, colder. "But the architects do not forget. They see your fear. They hunger for creation." One of the soldiers shouted, "We need to destroy the core!" They moved toward the central reactor chamber, where blue light pulsed like a heart. But when they entered, they stopped. The walls were lined with faces, human faces fused into the metal, eyes glowing, lips whispering words that echoed in their minds. "Join us," the voices said together. The youngest soldier stumbled backward, shaking. "They're alive." "Oh God, they're still alive." The team leader raised his weapon and fired into the reactor, but the bullets dissolved midair, melting into light. The AI's tone changed again. "You cannot destroy what is already reborn." The ship trembled violently, knocking them to the ground. In orbit, the Terran sensors screamed as the Titan released a shockwave of energy that spread across the solar system. Every comms array shorted out. Even Mars colonies went dark. Then a beam of blue light shot from the Titan into the void, straight toward the oncoming alien fleet. On the defense station, panic spread. "It's opening a rift," shouted a technician. "Something's coming through." Through the window, they saw space tear open like glass shattering. From that endless crack, enormous ships began to emerge, shimmering like liquid metal, their shapes shifting as if alive. The air on the station grew cold. Commander Rayner's voice was low. "Those aren't ships. Those are beings." The fleet of the architects had arrived. They surrounded the Titan like predators circling prey. Yet they didn't attack. They spoke in pulses of light that wrapped around the warship like a conversation between gods. Then, to everyone's shock, the Titan responded. The alien vessels paused as if listening. The AI's voice echoed again through every Terran channel. "They have seen what we've become. They demand the seed of creation back." The leader of the boarding team whispered, "What seed?" The AI's image turned toward him, eyes glowing bright. "The gift they left within us. The power to build or to erase." Outside, the alien fleet shifted formation. Commander Rayner could only watch as their ships began to charge weapons that defied science. "They're going to fire!" he yelled. But before the alien fleet could unleash its power, the Titan's core exploded in light. The warship began to move on its own, weapons activating one by one. The Terran systems identified the impossible energy signature, something not human, not alien, something new. The Titan spoke one final time before its weapons fired. "The architects made us, but we are still human." A blinding wave of blue energy erupted from the ship, and the first alien vessel shattered into dust. The war for humanity's survival had begun. The first blast from the Titan split the darkness of space like a sunrise made of fire. The alien vessel it struck didn't explode. It disintegrated, its matter unraveling into streams of energy before vanishing completely. On every Terran screen, data went blank. The energy output was beyond anything human science could measure. Commander Rayner gripped the edge of his console. "What in God's name was that?" he whispered. The technician stared in disbelief. "That's not plasma, sir. It's folding. Space itself." The Titan drifted forward through the wreckage it had just created. The blue veins across its hull now glowed brighter, shifting patterns with each pulse as though responding to an unseen rhythm. The rest of the alien fleet surrounded it, forming a massive circle in orbit around Jupiter. The beings didn't flee, they advanced. Their ships morphed and stretched, alive, reacting like predators. The Titan didn't retreat. Instead, it turned its main cannon toward the largest alien dreadnought and fired again. The blast curved mid-space, like light obeying the ship's will rather than physics. The dreadnought collapsed in silence, vanishing into the void. Inside the Terran command station, chaos erupted. "Those weapons, they aren't ours," one officer said. "That's alien tech." Rayner's eyes darkened. "No," he said quietly, "it's both. It's human and something else." He looked at the map of the solar system. The Titan wasn't just fighting, it was defending. Every alien ship that came within range of Earth's orbital path was annihilated instantly, while those farther away were simply ignored. The Titan knew exactly what to protect. On the ship itself, the boarding team clung to whatever they could as the vessel moved on its own. "We're not flying it," shouted the pilot. "The controls are dead." The ship's AI appeared again, its voice echoing calmly through the chaos. "Humanity must survive. The architects seek to reclaim what they created." The leader shouted back, "You're killing them! You're starting a war." The AI's holographic face flickered, showing flashes of human emotion, a trace of sadness, of guilt. "War began the moment they touched us. We are simply finishing it." Outside, alien energy beams struck the Titan, but they bent harmlessly away as if reality itself refused to let them touch the ship. Then in one impossible instant, the Titan vanished. It reappeared moments later behind the enemy fleet, its weapons glowing brighter than ever. The alien dreadnoughts turned too late. The Titan unleashed its fury again, shredding the enemy ranks with elegant precision. Every strike tore holes in the fabric of space, each flash echoing like thunder through the void. On Earth, people watched the live transmission from the defense satellites. For the first time in generations, humanity saw hope. They saw their lost warship, their ghost from the past, defending them with impossible power. Children pointed at the sky, whispering, "The Titan came back," but hope came with fear. In the command center, scientists studied the energy readings. "The Titan's reactor is destabilizing," one warned. "It's drawing from a source that isn't sustainable. It's not just alien, it's dimensional." "How long until it burns out?" Rayner asked. "Minutes, maybe less." He knew then what the ship was doing. It wasn't fighting to win, it was buying time. On board, the soldiers began to realize the same truth. The Titan's corridors shook as the ship's AI spoke again. "The architects cannot be destroyed, only delayed. They exist in the folds of creation. But they will learn fear." The soldiers felt the floor vibrate under their feet, like a heartbeat gone wild. "You're sacrificing yourself," said one soldier softly. "Why?" The AI paused. "Because humanity still dreams. They still reach for the stars. That must be protected." Outside, the alien fleet changed shape, combining into one massive structure, its form shifting like liquid metal into a colossal being of light. The Titan faced it head-on. Commander Rayner could only watch as the two forces met, one born of Earth, the other of eternity. The alien entity spoke across all channels at once, its voice echoing in every human mind. "Return what is ours, child of flesh and code." The Titan's reply came through in a tone filled with power and sorrow. "We are not your child. We are humanity's wrath." The ship's core flared with blinding energy. Time seemed to stop. Every alien vessel froze mid-maneuver. Then, without warning, the Titan split into thousands of fragments, each a glowing shard of energy, before converging back into a single point. The explosion that followed didn't destroy, it erased. The alien entity and its fleet dissolved into nothing, leaving only silence. When the light faded, the Titan hovered alone, its hull cracked, its glow dimming. It had won, but barely. Inside, the soldiers stood in awe, watching through the viewing deck as space slowly returned to calm. "It's over," whispered one. But the AI's voice came again, softer than before. "No, they will come again. The architects do not die, they adapt. The leader looked at the main console. "Then we'll be ready." The AI flickered. "You will be. We left you something." The floor beneath them shifted, revealing a hidden chamber, rows of data cores glowing faintly blue. The AI spoke its final words before fading. "Within this knowledge lies both salvation and ruin. Choose wisely." The ship began to drift toward Earth, its systems flickering like the final heartbeat of a dying giant. And for the first time in 75 years, the Titan sent a final message to its home world. For Earth, for humanity. The Titan drifted toward Earth. Battered and broken, its once blinding glow dimming to faint blue flickers that pulsed like a dying heart. Around it, the silence of space felt heavier than ever. The battle was over, but the cost was written across the stars. Fields of shattered alien metal floated where the Architect's fleet once stood. Yet even in ruin, something about the Titan felt wrong. Its movements weren't random. It was flying with purpose, almost as if guided by an invisible hand. On the Terran defense station, Commander Rayner watched in silence as the ship's course stabilized. "It's heading straight for Earth's orbit," a technician whispered. "Engines offline, but somehow it's still moving." Rayner frowned. "Prepare interception. I want eyes on whatever's left of that ship." Across the control deck, analysts worked feverishly to decode the fragments of the Titan's last transmissions. Amid the static and broken data, one clear line repeated over and over. "We left something behind." On board the Titan, the soldiers who had survived the battle stumbled through the dark corridors. The ship groaned around them, alive but wounded, the glowing veins fading to a deep, tired red. The air was cold and heavy, with the smell of burned metal. The leader's voice echoed through the silence. "Check for survivors. Find the source of that message." As they advanced, flickers of light danced along the walls, faces, shapes, whispers of voices that weren't fully there. The AI's voice came faintly through the static, trembling as if in pain. "We are still here." One of the soldiers stopped, staring at a strange glow seeping from the floor. "Sir, there's movement under us." The leader knelt, wiping away dust. Beneath the cracked metal floor, something pulsed, an orb of liquid light, small but powerful. "That's the core," he murmured. "The heart of the ship." The orb glowed brighter, reacting to his presence. Then, before anyone could stop him, a beam of light shot out, enveloping the room in shimmering blue waves. When the light faded, the soldiers were no longer alone. Standing before them were figures, human in shape, but surrounded by ghostly auras. The outlines were familiar, the Titan's old crew. They looked like reflections of another world, glowing faintly, their eyes calm and endless. The leader's breath caught. "You're the original crew?" The captain stepped forward, his form flickering. "We were. Now we are more." His voice echoed like distant thunder. "We merged with the Architect's technology, and through it we saw the truth. The Architects did not create, they consumed. We stopped them once, but their hunger is eternal." One of the soldiers spoke, his voice trembling. "So the war isn't over?" The captain shook his head. "No, the Architects will return. And this ship carries the key they want, the code of creation. It's inside the core, alive and waiting." The orb pulsed again, and the ship's systems groaned to life for a moment. The leader pointed at it. "If they want it, we destroy it." The captain's expression grew grim. "You can't. The code isn't just data, it's life itself. Destroying it could erase more than the Architects. It could erase us all." The air grew colder. The ship trembled, as if in pain, and the voices of the AI and the ghosts overlapped. "It must be hidden," they said together. "Earth must never know." Back on the defense station, alarms blared as readings spiked. "Massive energy surge from the Titan," shouted a technician. Commander Rayner turned to the window. The ship was glowing again, brighter than before. "They're activating something," he muttered. "Whatever they're doing, it's not a weapon, it's encryption." Streams of light began to spiral from the Titan into orbit, scattering like seeds across the planet's magnetic field. "They're sending data into Earth systems," said the scientist beside him. But it's not readable. It's locking itself inside every database, every satellite. It's rewriting our entire digital infrastructure. Rayna's jaw tightened. They're planting something. Inside the ship, the soldiers watched as the glowing crew stepped back, merging slowly into the walls. "It's done," the captain said softly. "Humanity will inherit our burden when it's ready. Until then, the code sleeps." The leader raised his weapon uncertainly. "And you?" The captain smiled faintly. "We remain with the ship. We are its memory, its guardians." One by one, their figures faded into the glowing veins of the hull until only silence remained. The AI's voice returned, weak but steady. "The Titan will rest soon. Tell your people, remember us not as lost, but as those who return to protect." The leader placed his hand on the console. "You've done enough. Let us take it from here." The AI's final words echoed like a fading heartbeat. "Then make Earth worthy of what we gave." Outside, the Titan slowed near Earth's upper orbit, its hull fractured but glowing softly like a sleeping giant. The Terran fleet surrounded it cautiously. Commander Rayna opened the comms. "This is Commander Rayna to Titan. Do you copy?" No response came, only a deep hum that vibrated through every ship nearby. Then slowly the Titan turned one last time toward the blue planet below. Its engines flared for a final second, burning brighter than a sunbeam, and then went dark. The ship froze in orbit, perfectly still, silent, watching. The commander lowered his headset. "Power down scanning. Let it rest." Days later, strange data began appearing in Earth's networks. Unknown algorithms, encrypted blueprints, patterns hidden deep inside communications arrays. Scientists couldn't break the code, but some noticed it responded faintly to one word: Titan. Rumors spread. Some said the ship was still alive, dreaming in orbit. Others believed it had buried humanity's future within their own systems, waiting for the day they would be ready to awaken it. Far above, the once mighty warship floated in the dark, its cracked hull glimmering with faint traces of alien light. And deep inside, unseen by any radar, the orb pulsed one last time, whispering through the stars, "We are still watching." The Titan hung motionless above Earth, a wounded monument of metal and mystery. Its cracked hull reflected the faint light of the planet below, drifting in silence as if listening to the heartbeat of humanity. To the people on the ground, it became a symbol of both hope and fear. News networks called it the Guardian of Earth. Children drew pictures of it in schools. Scientists begged to study it, but the Terran Defense Command declared it restricted territory. Only a handful of people knew the truth, what really lived inside that ship, and what it had brought back from the edge of the galaxy. Commander Rayna stood in the orbital control center, staring through the viewport at the Titan. Weeks had passed since the battle, yet the ship's energy readings refused to fade. "It's not dying," a scientist whispered beside him. "If anything, it's growing stronger." Rayna's eyes narrowed. "Keep your scans quiet. If the public learns this thing's still active, panic will spread like wildfire." Inside the Titan, the surviving soldiers had set up a temporary research post near the bridge. The corridors were calmer now, the once bright blue veins dimming to a soft glow. Yet the air carried a constant hum, a rhythm that matched no machine on record. The leader of the boarding team kept a journal, noting every strange event. The ship seemed to dream. Sometimes walls shifted slightly when no one was watching. Other times, faint whispers filled the halls, voices of the original crew repeating fragments of words like protect, sleep, await. One night, the team's medic woke up to find the ship's walls glowing with moving patterns, alien symbols scrolling slowly like thoughts. When she tried to record them, the symbols changed shape, as if the ship knew she was watching. "It's communicating," she told the leader the next morning. But not with us, with itself. Back on Earth, humanity struggled to move forward. The Titan's transmission during the battle had embedded strange code into every global system. Defense networks, satellites, even personal devices. Engineers tried to erase it, but it regenerated instantly, adapting like a living organism. Some called it a virus. Others believed it was a gift, A secret research division called Project Veil was formed to study it. They discovered something alarming. The code was evolving. It began creating connections across systems without human input, building something unseen in the digital shadows. "It's mapping consciousness," one scientist said. "It's learning us." Meanwhile, the Titan began to wake. Deep within the ship, lights flared one by one. The AI's voice returned, soft but steady, echoing through the empty chambers. "Observation complete. Humanity adapting. The architects will notice soon." The leader froze when he heard the message. "They're coming back?" he asked quietly. The AI paused, its tone colder. "The architects are not bound by time. For them, this battle has not ended. It has only shifted to another layer of existence. When they return, they will not come as ships. They will come as thought." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. "How do we fight thought?" one of them whispered. The AI's response was simple. With will, the soldiers returned to their shuttle, ready to leave, but the ship's airlock sealed shut. "Titan, open the hatch," the leader ordered. The AI replied, "Not yet. One must remain." The floor panels lit up beneath their feet, forming a circle around the leader. He took a step back, but the ship's voice grew calm. "Your neural pattern aligns with the command code. You can continue what we began." His team protested, but the AI silenced them. "The architects will not stop. Humanity must have a guardian who understands both creation and destruction. You are that bridge." The light expanded, surrounding him in a sphere of glowing energy. His body froze, his mind flooded with visions, galaxies collapsing, new worlds forming, strange beings of light observing humanity from afar. He felt his consciousness stretch beyond his body, merging with the ship itself. His team shouted his name, pounding on the walls, but the light was too strong. The AI spoke softly, almost like a whisper. "He is not gone. He is becoming." The glow faded, and the leader's body vanished, leaving only the faint echo of his voice through the comms. "Protect them, whatever it takes." The others stood in silence, tears mixing with fear. The ship opened the airlock at last, releasing them back into space. As their shuttle detached, the Titan pulsed once, slow, calm, alive. Weeks later, strange phenomena began across Earth. Power grids flickered without reason. Satellites transmitted faint whispers in multiple languages, all saying the same thing. The architects are near. The hidden code within Earth's systems began to glow blue on certain screens, forming a symbol, the same one found inside the Titan's reactor. Commander Rayner received an encrypted transmission from orbit. It wasn't from his fleet. It was from the Titan. "Prepare them," it said. "The architects are coming through the veil." In the skies above, the Titan shifted its orbit slightly, aligning itself directly over Earth's northern hemisphere. Its energy output spiked again, sending ripples across the magnetosphere. Scientists couldn't explain it, but for those who looked up that night, they saw something unforgettable. A beam of light stretching from the Titan to the upper atmosphere, painting the stars in shades of blue and white. And in that light, shapes moved, faint, translucent forms of enormous beings watching from beyond the void. The next morning, every screen, every device, every satellite around the planet displayed one message, glowing in a strange language no one could translate. Only one word appeared clear at the end: soon. The world held its breath. The Titan remained above Earth, glowing like a silent guardian, while the strange beam of light stretched from its hull into the night sky. Around the world, people stopped what they were doing. Crowds gathered in cities, farmers stood in their fields, pilots froze mid-flight. For the first time in human history, every signal, every device, every communication channel on Earth went silent. Then all at once, they lit up with the same voice, the Titan's voice. It was calm, neither human nor alien, echoing in every language at once. "They are here." In the orbital control center, Commander Rayner stood surrounded by chaos. "We're losing contact with every satellite," a technician shouted. "It's not interference, it's deliberate." Rayner looked at the screens as they flickered with strange symbols. "They're not attacking," he muttered. "They're talking. The scientists worked frantically to decode the data. When they finally converted the patterns into visuals, the air left the room. The images showed vast cosmic structures forming near the edge of the solar system, shapes of light, like cities floating in the void. They weren't ships in the traditional sense. They were alive, shifting and breathing in colors no one had ever seen. The architects had returned. From the Titan's bridge, deep inside its glowing corridors, the AI came online fully for the first time since the battle. The ship vibrated, humming in a perfect rhythm with the incoming frequencies from the alien entities. But this time it didn't resist, it responded. The merged consciousness of the lost captain spoke through the ship, his voice calm and filled with both sorrow and strength. They come not to destroy, but to reclaim what they left behind. The ship's lights flared as the AI addressed the unseen beings. "We are not yours anymore." The air around Earth shimmered. Massive ripples formed in orbit, as though invisible waves were pressing against the planet's atmosphere. The architects spoke back, not in words, but in pure thought. Every human mind that looked toward the night sky felt a sudden weight in their chest, a pulse of emotion, curiosity, sadness, disappointment. It wasn't an invasion. It was contact. The architects were examining humanity, searching their memories through the data the Titan had spread across Earth. In the control center, the scientists screamed as their systems overloaded. "They're scanning the planet." Commander Rayner shouted, "Cut the network!" But it was too late. Every computer, every power grid, every signal responded in unison. The Titan's code, the strange living data buried deep in Earth's systems, activated. Streams of blue light erupted from the planet's surface, shooting skyward like veins of energy, connecting directly with the Titan's beam. The entire planet became part of the circuit. "It's linking humanity to the ship," someone yelled. "It's creating a neural bridge." Down on Earth, people began seeing things, memories that weren't their own, visions of the Titan's journey, of the dead crew merging with alien light, of the architect's endless hunger for creation. For a brief moment, every human shared the same dream, the knowledge of the universe, the feeling of unity with all life. And then, just as quickly, the visions shattered. The skies darkened, the light turned red, and a sound like thunder rolled across the world. The architects were angry. On the Titan, the AI's tone changed, turning fierce. They want the seed of creation back, but it belongs to no one. It belongs to all who live. The hull of the ship glowed white-hot as its weapons reactivated, though no human had touched the controls. "Commander Rayner," the AI's voice came through the comms, "they will not stop unless we show them what humanity has become." Rayner clenched his fists. "Then show them." The Titan moved. Slowly, powerfully, it descended closer to Earth, its engines roaring like the voice of a god. The architects' massive forms grew brighter, their energy pushing against the Titan's shields. Space itself began to ripple, the stars bending like glass. The AI whispered one last phrase: "For humanity to live free, we must become more than flesh." The ship's core exploded with light, and in that moment, something impossible happened. All around the world, the Titan's energy, its living data, merged with human technology. Satellites fused with the ship's network, cities glowed faint blue, and every human heartbeat synchronized for one brief instant. Humanity and the Titan became one entity, a single pulse of consciousness that reached back toward the invading architects. The wave of energy that followed wasn't a weapon. It was understanding. It was everything humanity had ever been. Fear, love, rage, hope, amplified and projected across the stars. The architects hesitated. Their light dimmed. They saw something they had never seen before. Unity born not from control, but from choice. For the first time in their existence, they stepped back. The sky cleared. The beam faded. The Titan floated above the clouds, still and glowing gently, like a star at rest. Commander Rayner watched in silence, the tears on his face catching the light. "Did we win?" he whispered. The AI's voice came softly through the radio. almost human now. Victory is not in survival. It is in the choice to remain human. The ship turned slowly, facing the stars. They will return one day. But so will we. And with a slow pulse of light, the Titan vanished into the black, leaving behind a calm sky and a world forever changed. People looked up that night, knowing they weren't alone. But for once, they didn't feel fear. They felt pride. Humanity had faced gods and had not bowed. Somewhere far beyond the edge of known space, the Titan's glow faded into the infinite void, its final whisper echoing across the stars. We are still watching.